You know, I've been thinking, maybe Miraidon EX isn't so mid after all. I'm finally back from Japan, where I was able to finish 21st place at the 2023 World Championships with my Miraidon EX deck. I am really excited about this finish. It was the top placing finish for any Miraidon deck in the world. It was a list that I came up with myself along with some of my other teammates and friends that I tested with, and it was a deck that not a lot of people had on their radar for the World Championships. I was able to grind through day one, qualify for the second day of competition, and then claw my way all the way up to 21st place after 2 long days of competing. It was an unforgettable experience. I spent 2 weeks in Japan. Everything was awesome. I mean, words can hardly describe how impactful this trip was for me. I lived in Japan for a few years when I was a kid. My dad was stationed there in the Navy, and I haven't been back in 27 years. I got to spend some of my time there with my family, my wife Natalie, and some of my best friends. It really was an unforgettable experience. I'm gonna be releasing a vlog that details pretty much everything that I did during my 2 weeks in Japan, but that is not this video. This video is going to be a tournament recap and vlog detailing why I chose to play Miraidon EX at the Pokemon TCG World Championships. Let's get into it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My adventure with Miraidon EX started right here on Tricky Gym. I was testing for the World Championships and wanted to play a deck that was fast and aggressive and didn't run a serious risk of tying, especially since I needed to grind through the first day of competition in order to qualify for day 2. And in order to qualify for day 2, you have to finish with 18 match points after playing 8 Swiss rounds, which means that you need to win 6 of those rounds, and tying effectively counts as a loss, unless you finish with a record of exactly 5, 0, and 3. And that's not exactly a record that anybody wants to shoot for. So I wanted to make sure that I was giving myself the best possible chance of getting 6 wins out of 8 rounds. After playing Miraidon EX on stream, I ended up really enjoying the list that I had tested with Path to the Peak. I went on a little win streak, and the deck was a lot of fun to play. So then I decided the next step would be to bring the deck to a League Cup and see if it could actually perform when there was championship points and prizes on the line. And sure enough, I made it into top 8, defeated my top 8 and top 4 opponents, and then right before I sat down to play my Arceus opponent in the final round, I decided to scoop and go watch Barbenheimer, because Oppenheimer and the Barbie movie were way more important than finishing the finals of this League Cup. Also, I didn't want to leak the sauce, okay? And it would have brought more attention to this deck that I really liked if I had won the cup instead of just walking away with second place. And I was happy to do so, especially knowing that Arceus was going to be a favorable matchup in that final round. So I definitely gained more confidence after the League Cup and made it known to my friend group that I was very interested in playing Miraidon EX for the World Championships. I like that the deck is fast and aggressive and can attack as early as the first turn in the game, punishing decks that are slower to set up or maybe less consistent. You don't need to rely on Battle VIP Pass in order to set up with Miraidon. You can just use its tandem unit ability, which is something that really drew me to this deck. And with Path to the Peak, you could slow down other decks, making it harder for them to respond to your quick attacks. And that proved to be a winning strategy in our testing group, and one that I felt like a lot of players wouldn't be prepared for at the World Championships. Flying to Japan, I really only had 2 decks that I was seriously considering for Worlds. Either Gardevoir EX, which I had played at the North American International Championships. It was a little bit of a comfort pick for me and was a well-respected deck in the Pokemon TCG, one that I certainly wouldn't be laughed at for playing, and Miraidon EX. And after a few days of testing and mulling over the list, our group unanimously landed on Miraidon EX with Path to the Peak. In the next portion of the video, I'm going to go through my vlog where I talk about each of my rounds as they happen at the World Championships. But before I get to that, I want to take a moment to shout out my sponsor, Dragon Shield. If you have followed Tricky Jim for any amount of time, then you know that brand partnerships are something that I take really seriously, and that I only partner up with companies that I absolutely believe in, like Dragon Shield. Dragon Shield makes the highest quality, most reliable trading card game sleeves on the market, and I am incredibly proud to rep Dragon Shield sleeves at every event that I go to. When it came time to compete at the biggest tournament of the year, I entrusted my deck to Dragon Shield Pink Diamond matte sleeves. These sleeves shuffled perfectly all weekend long and helped my Miraidon EX deck to look its absolute best. If you'd like to pick up some Dragon Shield sleeves for your own deck, make sure to use the creator link in the description below. Dragon Shield has a summer sale going on right now for 20% off your first order of $100 or more. Thank you so much for clicking the link in the description and checking out dragonshield.com. Now, let's get to that tournament vlog. Round 1, I just played against Hisuian Zoroark V-Star, and he went first, started Bidoof, and passed. And then I went turn 1, double generator, retreat, Raikou Donk. Didn't even have to play a supporter. It was sick. And then game 2, he goes first, starts lone Hisuian Zoroark, and I have a pretty fire opening. And I'm like, all right, I can do this. I Squawkabilly, I research, I find 2 generators, I play them both to try and donk the lone Hisuian Zoroark V, and I whiff one and only hit 1 lightning on the other. So I have a 2 energy Miraidon and I just have to pass. And then my opponent sets up a little bit, but doesn't really get going extremely well. And I'm able to just start rolling. Even though I don't hit any of my generators, I get a Flaaffy going and just start attaching energy. And my opponent kind of like sputters out and prized both their B BRS, so they weren't really able to churn through the deck like they need to. And I took like a key big knockout on their only Hisuian Zoroark V-Star, and they just scooped it up after that. So starting off 1-0, feels good. Just got destroyed by an Urshifu deck. Urshifu Inteleon, not the matchup we want to see there. There wasn't really a hope. There were rapid flows all over the place. It was really bad. So I'm feeling confident about the deck. I haven't been hitting generators hot. In fact, I've been whiffing more than I've been hitting, which is just like, feels really bad considering we play 14 lightning, but it's all good. It's part of the deck, so you just take it in stride and trying to keep my head up. 1-1. I can only lose 1 more. And I am thankful that the deck doesn't seem to be prone to ties, so that's nice. Hoping for a better matchup next round. Just won round 3, going into lunch break now, which is not exactly what I want to be doing. I would much rather just kind of barrel through and keep this momentum going, but it's fine. Played against Mew VMAX, which I was a little bit worried about because Riley said that he lost to a Mew VMAX during round 1 today. So I was nervous about it, but my opponent didn't draw very hot and I was able to capitalize on that. So I was thankful for that. My opponent was very kind, nice fellow, and a pleasure to play against. I am looking for more Arceus, Lugia, that kind of stuff in the upcoming round. So hopefully I can see some of those decks that are apparently the most represented decks here at the tournament. That would be great, but feeling okay heading into lunch break. Just would rather keep the momentum going. Just played against my first Lost Zone Giratina deck, and I won. So that was really, really good. 3-1 now, and the deck was flowing. I was hitting generators. This was the best that the deck has worked so far, by far. So it was really nice to have the deck really firing off back-to-back games. 2-0'd the set, and it made me really confident in my deck choice for the event. Miraidon feels like a great best of 3 deck. I finished this round with 25 minutes remaining. The games are quick, the game actions don't take very long, and it really feels like a excellent tournament deck. So 3-1, we have to win 3 more. Let's see if we can go 3 up, 3 down.
Well, it's gonna be a fun match.
I hope so.
I like to talk again during some matches. If you think I talk too much, just say whatever.
I like to not talk and focus.
Okay,
but
well, we don't. That's so good.
That's okay. Yeah, I like to be joke around everywhere except for when I'm playing, because I just sometimes have a hard time focusing.
No worries, man. No worries.
So we'll be dead on. I'll probably be pretty dialed in.
All good. No.
Apparently, I forgot to vlog after round 5, but I played against Baxcalibur Chien-Pao EX, and I was able to take the win. So, on to round 6. I've got to win 2 of my final 3 rounds in order to make day 2. Well, lost that one. Was really hoping that I could win so that I would just be in a win and in situation, but now I'm 4-2. So I have to win out. Lost to Mew VMAX, won a close game 1. He was able to Cram-O-Matic for a path turn 1, game 2, and just kind of locked me out of the game. Turn 1, game 2, so I scooped it up. Went to game 3, and I just drew really bad game 3. I just wasn't really able to get into my flow at all. I wasn't drawing cards in the right order. Whiffing generators, then drawing into hands full of energy later. It was pretty much all bad. I just never got my flow going. Didn't hit the charms early, which would have been nice to help prevent knockouts. And yeah, it wasn't great. So need to win the next 2. It's fine. I can do that. I won the last handful before this, so we're gonna keep our head up and try to do it. Round 1, I sat diagonal from fellow content creator Eric Smith, who goes by Rare Candy on YouTube, and he asked me what in the world I was doing playing Miraidon EX at the World Championships. And I told him it was a busted deck. And sure enough, round 7, I get paired against Eric Smith, Rare Candy.
What are you doing, Andrew?
Just played against Eric Smith, Rare Candy, and I won. So thankful to be back in another winning in to day 2 at the World Championships. Just one more series. Hoping that I get a good matchup. Hoping that I can see another Arceus deck or a Lugia deck or something like that. Just, wow. I mean, I'm happy to be here. Win or lose my final round. I'm just thrilled that the deck is working. 5-2 now, and it is doing exactly what I wanted it to do. It's beating Lost Tina decks, it's beating Arceus decks. I feel like I've got good plays versus everything else, and I felt like I have a shot in everything that I'm sitting across from, except for that one Urshifu deck. That was pretty tough. But apparently Riley beat one, so it's possible. Jesse beat one too, actually. So that's a winnable matchup, but still not one I would like to see. Eric was playing Arceus V-Star, Giratina V-Star. We sat near each other round one, and he was joking and asked me, you know, why in the world I was playing the deck that I was playing, Miraidon. And I told him, because it's broken. The deck is awesome. Genuinely am very much enjoying playing it. It's a nice change of pace from more grindy decks like Gardevoir EX, which I played for the North American International Championships, and Lost Zone Gudra V-Star, which I played for the European International Championships. It's been real nice to just swing with Miraidon, swing with Raikou, slam path down. Feels good. Winning in time, baby. To say that I'm nervous at this point is an understatement. The last time I was able to grind into day 2 of the World Championships was 2015, my first World Championships, where I won a win-and-in with my Night March deck. And then the last time I was in a win-and-in to day 2 was 2018, where I lost a soul-crushing Buzzrock mirror in my final round. This is the last year that there will be a day 1 and day 2 system in place. And I want nothing more than to redeem myself and qualify for another day 2.
Let's go! Let's go, man! I saw. Let's go!
I did it. I won my final round. I'm so excited. I haven't made a day 2 at the World Championships since 2015. I lost my win-and-in to day 2 in 2018. It was crazy. Just played against Arceus, Giratina V-Star. Again, I hit back-to-back Arceus, Giratina V-Stars in my last 2 rounds. And I won game 1, I lost game 2, I won game 3. I really tried to grit out game 2. Game 1, I just ran away with. Game 2, I tried to grit it out and just see more of my opponent's deck, learn a little bit more about what he had going on. It was looking bad from the get-go, but I just kind of stuck it out because game 1 was so quick. I went first, turn 2, I got Miraidon, knocked out Arceus, and it was pretty much over from there. Game 3, I go first, I get a stone down, I start setting up Miraidon again, and he just has to go Arc, Energy, Judge, Pass. And at that point, all I had to do was attack with Miraidon for game. And that's why I played this deck. I mean, it's just so good against Arceus decks. We were anticipating that those were gonna be popular. And dang, it's crazy. I'm playing in day 2.
Thank you. Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm sorry, recording.
Thank you.
Jesse?
Nope. No.
Oh!
After the dust had settled on day 1, I was the only player from our testing group to qualify for day 2 of the World Championships. Both Michael Zealy and JW Krewall dropped at round 6 with records of 3-3. Riley Hulbert dropped after round 7 with a record of 4-3. And Jesse lost back-to-back win-and-ins after starting with a record of 5-1. As the last one in my group standing, now it's my job to show the world what this deck is capable of. Getting ready to play in day 2 now. I'm nervous. Didn't change a single card in the deck. I like the deck. I mean, I'm confident in it. Just kind of a bodily nervousness, not really mentally nervous. I'm chilling. It's just my body feels like kind of like a fish out of water, you know. So working through that, but ready to play. Just want to get started, get into it, and hoping to hit my generators. Just round one against Baxcalibur. Super amped about it. I won game 1, lost game 2, won game 3. Game 1, Path put in a ton of work, shut down Chien-Pao EX, and was able to kind of just stifle his engine while I just took efficient, quick knockouts. Game 2, he set up perfectly. Every time I put down Path, he was able to counter it. When I had Charm of Courage on my Raikou, he was able to vacuum it in order to get a easy knockout on it, so scoop that one up. Game 3, he really struggled to get going, and I was able to hit some generators early. I didn't play a single generator game 2, so that kind of played into things as well. Didn't go too hot game 2, but game 3, I was able to hit some generators, get some momentum going early, went first, and that just did what the deck does. It just goes fast, hits hard, and he wasn't able to keep up. So happy to get a round 1 win at day 2 of Worlds. Well, let's keep it up. Just played against Aiden Koos with Turbo Lost Box. I was able to 2-0 him. It was a really close game 1 and game 2, honestly. Dragonite is a little tough for my deck to deal with. I'm not playing Zapdos, so in order to knock out Dragonite, I have to Raichu it, but it's fine because really all the other Pokemon in the Lost Box deck are pretty easy to knock out. I was able to just get going quickly with Raikou, get some pressure on, take quick prizes, answer the Dragonite immediately in game 1. In game 2, it got sketchy because the Dragonite was able to take 4 prizes because I missed knockout on it immediately after he got it out. But after a judge at the end of the game, I was able to knock out the Dragonite, and then I only had 1 prize left to take and was able to finish the set. So 2-0 starting the day. I'm ecstatic. I'm just so thrilled that the deck is working. It's firing off right now. I mean, I missed so many generators, but it doesn't even matter. I'm feeling real good about it. So hoping that this continues. So last night was thinking about putting a Drapion V in my deck because of the fact that I played against 2 Mew VMAX, and that does not seem like a very good matchup. In fact, it's a pretty bad matchup. But yesterday I was able to go 1-1 against Mew, so that wasn't too bad. I decided to just keep the list the same, and unfortunately I hit a Mew VMAX round 3 and lost 0-2. Just not a great matchup. You really need a Path to stick, or you need them to fumble some sort of way. It's just very easy for them to go 2-4-6 and win the game in 4 turns, and my deck has to work perfectly in order for me to go 2-4-6 or 2-5-1 usually, because I'm knocking out a Mew or a Genesect, and then maybe I'll knock out a Meloetta, and then, you know, knock something out for game. So you you need everything to go just right, and it didn't. So 2-1 after round 3, and regretting a little bit not playing a Mew counter. It's looking like Mew is actually a very popular choice for this World Championships, and that's a slight regret that I have, but it's cool. I'm gonna keep my head up, and we're on to the next one. Real tough round 4, played against Tord Reklev. It was a great set. Both of the games were real grinders. My deck didn't operate at all. I was turn 1 just not doing anything. No Miraidon. Miraidon didn't show up. I was doing things like attacking with Raichu V turn 2. I was using Electric Generator onto Mareeps, I think both games. So like, the fact that the games actually got super close was pretty cool considering how sketchy my starts were. Game 1, it's Iono Path, and I have Win on board, and a single prizer active, and he has to take 2 prizes, and he has to find Stadium Boss for Win, and refinements into those exact 2 cards. That was like a 30-minute game 1, and then game 2, I'm like, all right, great, I'm going first, it's cool, I can tie this one, it's no big deal. I open a dud opening hand, I'm not doing anything, and I'm like, all right, we're in for another grinder of a game, and I have Win at the end, but Tord Ionos me, and I need Boss Energy. He Ionos me into Boss. I have 3 in deck, so high odds of drawing it. I find Boss, miss Energy, and that's that. So we're 2-2. I'm gonna stop losing now. Round 5, got my redemption against Gardevoir 2-0. That was awesome. Felt good after losing the last 2 rounds. The deck was popping off and drawing smoothly. I was setting up well. In game 2, I got 2 Flaaffy out. I was dynamotoring a lot. It was great. And my opponent just didn't really get their deck going at full speed ever. I mean, game 2 was really close, but they never got the dream turn to a full bench of Kirlia, anything like that. So I was able to attack fast and just kind of run them off the board. So that's exactly what my deck wants to do, and it felt good to execute that game plan. 1-1 versus Guardy now. That doesn't feel so bad, and I'm looking forward to the next few rounds. Would love to finish top 32 in this event. We'll see if that's in the cards. Just had a real nail biter versus Mew VMAX and was able to win. So I'm 4-2. I am really hoping that I can finish in top 32. The matchup against Mew was super close. One game 1, Path was sticking real good against this particular Mew list, so that was nice. And the Paths definitely carried in games 1 and 3. In game 3, I was able to establish 2 Flaaffy and was just dynamotoring a lot of energy into play, and was able to knock out a Mew VMAX at the end for game. So it went to time. I mean, it was going to be, you know, down to the wire there, but I finished the game on turn 2 of time. So I was stoked about that. So we're 4-2. Let's get another win. If I do, maybe I can ID into top 32. Just won against another Turbo Lost Zone deck, 2-0, so I'm 5-2, and now I have to decide if I want to see if my opponent will ID, and maybe we can both guarantee ourselves top 32. Top 32 gets money, top 32 gets the cool Worlds bag. At this point, I'm completely out of top 8. Even if I win my last one, I could get top 16 if I go 6-2. I could whiff top 32 if I go 5-3. So I'm gonna talk to my friends, see what they think, and obviously I have to talk to my last round opponent and see what they think, but I'm thrilled. This has been an awesome tournament experience. I am really proud of how I'm playing. I'm really proud of the deck choice. And being 2-0 against Turbo Lost Zone box on the day feels awesome. I mean, I'm 4-0 in games. I mean, I'm 4-0 in games against Turbo Lost Zone box. That seems like a pretty good matchup, honestly, with the Switch Carts, the paths. With the Switch Carts and the paths and all of that, it's just a lot of pressure, and it can be hard for Turbo Lost Zone box to keep up. So I'm excited. I'm proud of the deck. At this point, even if I were to end 5-3, I'd be stoked. So all in all, really happy. I just finished my final Swiss round in day 2, and I tied. So I'm 5-2-1. I played against Mew VMAX. It was a real grindy match. I lost game 1, almost lost game 2, but I was able to Iono path my opponent. I Iono'd them to 2. They couldn't draw out a path, and I was able to take 5 prizes in 2 turns to mount a huge comeback in game 2. And then game 3 didn't finish, so 5-2-1. I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that I finish in top 32. That would be amazing. I'd get some cash. I'd win the Worlds bag. I would have another Worlds finish under my belt. So that's the hope, but I have to wait until the standings go up. So I'm hearing that I made top 32. I'm geeking out. This is insane.
Yes, 33.
You did?
Yeah, I got it.
What was your record?
5-3.
Oh! 21st place. Let's go! I'm so excited. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You want to see what the World's bag looks like?
Oh yeah.
I hope it's sexy.
Got one.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Let's go, baby! 21st place for Miraidon. What the
You're a beast.
Hello.
I'm
Masters TCG, Andrew Mahone.
Ooh, you got
Top 32, Ed! What the heck, dude?
the bag's sexy.
And the bag.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let's
Here, hold on. Here, there we go. Stand right there. Okay, wait, stand. Don't move here. There we go. Okay, good. It was the light was in your face.
Thank you, and that's it, right? Yes. All right,
Thank you.
excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that was my top 32 World Championship run with Miraidon EX. If I could go back and change anything about my list, I would probably add a specific counter for Mew VMAX. I played against 5 Mew VMAX decks over the course of the weekend out of 16 rounds. Almost a third of my matchups were Mew VMAX. And I got pretty banged up by the Mew VMAX decks, finishing with a record of 2-2-1 against them, which, all things considered, is not too bad and was good enough for a top 32 placement. I'm very proud of how I played this weekend and am so excited that I was able to earn another World Championship finish in 2023. I'm so excited for the season ahead, but I've still got one more video to create about my experience in Japan. This is just the beginning. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to stay tuned for part 2.